What began as heavy monsoon showers has turned into a full-blown disaster, with cloudbursts, landslides and flash floods battering the region for 4 straight days. In Jammu and Kashmir itself, the situation is pretty bad. Pilgrimage routes have been hit. 34 lives have been lost so far and crucial infrastructure swept away in minutes. From Katra to Udhampur, normal life has been thrown out of gear and rescue teams are scrambling to reach those cut off by the deluge. Now, year after year, monsoon-linked disasters are only intensifying, not just in the north but across India. Climate scientists are now calling it a clear warning. It's a dangerous cocktail of global warming, unchecked urbanization and the destruction of natural barriers and amplifying nature's wrath. On 5 Live today, we bring you the full scale of devastation on the ground, and we are also asking the tough question: is this disaster engineered by us? Is this a man-made disaster?
Cloudburst, landslides, flash floods. Nature has turned relentless tormentor in the hills of Jammu and Kashmir. For 4 straight days, the skies haven't stopped opening up. Torrential rains have pounded the region. Flash floods tear through villages. Bridges crumble like paper. Electric poles snap. Towers topple. Several bridges have also collapsed. One crucial collapse in Jammu city, where cars were caught in the rubble. In Katra, disaster struck. Rain-triggered landslide hit along the Mata Vaishno Devi pilgrimage route. Many have lost their lives and several are yet to be rescued. Prime Minister Narendra Modi condoled the large-scale loss of lives. Flights and trains have been halted or cancelled after heavy deluge. While rescue operations are underway, millions remain cut off. The water level in the Chenab is flowing above the danger mark. The swollen river threatening habitations and banks of Tavi River.
People who are stuck in floodwaters are being rescued. Indian Army, Jammu and Kashmir Police, NDRF, SDRF, CRPF and other agencies are working in close coordination, and no stone is being left unturned when it comes to providing relief to the people. But situation is alarming. It continues to rain cats and dogs here in Jammu region.
Jammu and Udhampur have recorded their worst rainfall ever in 24 hours. People living in low-lying areas have been asked to stay extra vigilant and avoid going near water bodies. Deadly floods and landslides in monsoon season are becoming more frequent and severe, with experts blaming a dangerous mix of climate change and rapid unplanned urbanization. The UN has called rising floods and droughts a distress signal of climate breakdown. While the climate experts warn that global warming, combined with reckless construction and destruction of natural defenses, is creating a deadly cocktail. The bigger question is, are we engineering our own disaster? With Sunil G. Bhatt, Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, let's get a quick live update now. First up with our reporters, Asim Basi joins us live now. He is on a highway which is in Himachal. Not clear about his location just yet as he's trying to sort of get his way out. Asim, take us through exactly where you are and what's the situation there at the moment.
Well, I'm at the Mandi-Manali highway currently, and this road is closed since past yesterday because there was incessant rain and flooding on that on the Kullu area and the Manali area. So you can see this the traffic is stuck. Although we are getting a buzz that it may open in few hours or around couple of hours, but this road has been basically hit by heavy landslides and flooding. On this side, you can see this is the River Beas, and look at the kind of damage it has done. This is the River Beas, which is in full spate, and yesterday also the flooding was too much, that its impact was so much that this entire water came on the road where I'm standing, entire slush came. And today, ever since around 5 a.m., the administration is on job, clearing the slush, clearing the roads, but the people are stuck here, and you can see this Beas continues to wear a threatening look. And this time there has been a lot of devastation, be it Manali, be it Kullu, these kind of regions, because the rains were very heavy. Maximum damage has been done in Manali, and in even Kullu also. The shops have gone, the flood, the bridges have gone, the highways have gone. So there's been a lot of infrastructure loss as far as Himachal Pradesh is concerned. And since then, the highways are closed.
There are a lot of infrastructural damage that we are seeing
right now. Although,
Asim, if you could tell us that a lot of infrastructural damage that we are seeing, be it in terms of the highway where you're standing right now or the shops that have been impacted, a lot of it, is it new construction or this has been around for a while? Is this just a decade-long old construction, or these have been sort of shops, residences, areas which have been standing tall for a while?
well, it is a mix of both. Be it highways, some highways were made new, they also washed away, but there were structures that were very old, be it shops, be it restaurants, be it footbridges. The old structures also got impacted, but some new infrastructures also. So it has been a mixed bag, be it new buildings, be it the older ones. The water impact has been so much that it took everything away, whatever came its way. So here also, now you say, almost I think it's going to be opening shortly, in a couple of hours, I think, maybe.
Got it.
Because it is told that the roads are being repaired now. So this will be a breather. But yes, infrastructure loss has been heavy. The connectivity has been hit all over Kullu, Manali and Mandi regions.
I was asking that question because I wanted to understand if a lot of this can be linked directly to encroachment, can be linked directly to the kind of construction and infrastructure built that we've seen in the last decade or so. But I get that, Asim, they're saying that it's a bit of a mixed bag. We also have Kamaljeet Sandhu joining us live. She is on her way to Katra. Kamaljeet, firstly, take us through where exactly are you right now? What's the condition? Are there people still missing? And what exactly are the authorities doing about it?
Well, we are in Katra. This is ground zero, and let me tell you, I'm at this point of time surrounded by several of the eyewitnesses. They saw with their own eyes, and it was a great save. Let's just try and get you a sense from them, especially eyewitnesses who've come from Delhi as well as. So Naveen Prakash joins us. He's come with his family. Naveen, आप हमें फोटो और वीडियोस दिखा रहे थे. जरा जरूर बताइए हमारे दर्शकों को क्या हुआ था और कोई चेतावनी क्या मिली थी आप लोगों को?
नहीं मैम, ऐसा तो कुछ नहीं मिला. वहाँ पे बहुत लैंडस्लाइडिंग हुई थी हमारे 10 मिनट्स पहले. उसके बाद हमें रोक दिया गया था. फिर उसके बाद 15-20 मिनट के बाद हम वापसी बाहर को आए हैं.
तो क्या हुआ, अब आपने आंखों से क्या देखा है?
हम बाल बचे हैं. बहुत बुरा मंजर था. उस टाइम यात्रा को रोकी गई हुई थी. उसके बाद हम आगे की तरफ को बढ़ते गए. हम नीचे आके बाणगंगा पे रुके हैं. फिर वहाँ पे
बात करते हैं और लोगों से. आप बताइए कि कोई चेतावनी थी क्या? क्या आपको लग रहा है कि इतने लोग परिवार वाले?
मैडम, कोई चेतावनी थी. यात्रा चल रही थी, यात्री सब चल रहे थे. अचानक ही कुछ पत्थर गिरे और देखते ही देखते बहुत बड़ा मंजर हो गया वो.
तो आप लोग वहाँ से भाग उठे थे वहाँ से. इतनी बारिश थी उस वक्त, बहुत बारिश आ रही थी.
48 घंटे
लगातार 2 दिन तक बारिश रही. यहाँ पे बहुत ज्यादा बारिश थी.
तो आप लोगों को ऐसा नहीं लगा कि नहीं कैंसिल कर देना चाहिए, वहाँ नहीं जाना चाहिए?
हम तो वापसी में थे ना. हम तो दर्शन करके आ चुके थे. हम वापसी में थे. हमारे जाते वक्त नहीं हुआ, हमारे वापसी में हुआ है ये हादसा.
So Kajal Bhujwani, who's from Jabalpur, also joins us. Let's just have a word. मैम, क्या आप लोगों ने देखा? आप लोग भी वापस आ रहे थे जब आप लोगों ने देखा?
हम लोग भी वापस आ रहे थे. अर्धकुंवारी सी थे. हमको जल्दी बोला जल्दी निकलो. वहाँ पे शेड में से हम लोग को आवाज आई कि जैसे किसी पत्थर वगैरह गिरे, और शेड से लोग इतनी फास्ट में भागे कि दौड़ते हुए भागे हम लोग, कि हम लोग को कहीं कुछ नुकसान न हो।
खास तौर पे एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन या फोर्सेस की तरफ से लोग थे वहाँ पे, बचाव कार्य आप लोगों ने कुछ
हाँ, एम्बुलेंस देखी थी हम लोगों ने।
और उसके बाद हम लोग जहाँ पर पहुँचे 1 किलोमीटर पहले ये हुआ था हादसा, पर हमको विश्वास नहीं हो रहा था, इतनी जोर से बिजली चमकी तो हम लोग सोच रहे थे बिजली का आवाज है, ये हमारा फूटने का नहीं है। फिर अचानक से इतनी जोर से एक आदमी सर पे हाथ रख के भाग रहा था, हम लोगों ने क्या हुआ कुछ बताओ तो। फिर उसने आदमी ने बोला कि ये देखिए देखिए क्या हुआ है मेरे हाथ पे, और एक आदमी का बिल्कुल हाथ शून्य हो गया, बोल रहा हम लोग वहाँ थे, बिल्कुल बच गए, वो अपनी जान बचाकर और भागे हैं, और हमने अपनी आंखों से देखा है वो लाइव।
और एम्बुलेंस में भी
ये पूछा जाना चाहिए, जब आप ऊपर जा रहे थे कोई इस तरह का बोला गया था कि मौसम खराब है, नहीं जाना?
नहीं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं बोला गया।
हम लोग वापस आ रहे थे, हम लोग जो ऊपर जा रहे थे उनको भी बहुत लोगों को बोला प्लीज आप ऊपर मत जाइए, अपनी जान को जोखिम दे रहा है। हम लोग वहाँ से इतनी स्पीड में रह रहे थे कि हम लोग को पानी की प्यास लगी थी, पर हम लोगों ने बोतल का ढक्कन खोल के भी पानी नहीं पिया, इतना 5 मिनट भी नहीं अपने गवाए, ऐसा समझ के चलिए।
फास्ट में भागते हुए निकले हम लोग।
Let's just get a sense, आप ये बताइए कि उसके तुरंत बाद बंद हो गया था या आपको लग रहा था कि लोग फिर भी ऊपर जा रहे थे?
फिर बंद कर दिया, 15-20 मिनट के बाद बंद हो गया था, पर वो भी बहुत करने के बाद बहुत लोगों तो हम लोगों ने कहा वापस आओ।
जो लोग ऊपर थे ना,
कितने लोग थे उस टाइम जिस टाइम ये पूरा लैंडस्लाइड हुआ?
काफी टाइम, बहुत भीड़ थी, बहुत भीड़ थी, लेकिन जब
200-250 लोग थे।
That's scary situation over there. All those eyewitnesses telling Kanwaljit what exactly actually happened. A lot of them saying that thank God they were actually coming on their way back when they saw it, and Yatra was immediately called off right after. My colleague Sunil Ji Bhatt is also there and sent us this report.
What you are seeing around me are the scenes of devastation and destruction. Right now I'm standing in a low-lying area located on the banks of Tavi River in Jammu city. You can see that houses have been damaged here due to flood waters yesterday. Houses have collapsed. Many houses got washed away due to the swollen waters of the river. You can see the extent of damage that has taken place. There you see behind me. This was a house here, and now you can see that it has completely turned into rubble, and the people who lived in this house have come here now and they are picking up the pieces. So this house has completely damaged. This was the roof of the house. Now it has been grounded completely. And what you are seeing around me, these pillars, these pillars are actually parts of the houses that got washed away. So you can imagine what must have transpired here in the low-lying areas in Jammu. Similar scenes were witnessed in other low-lying areas of Jammu, Samba and Kathua. On that side also, you can see the extent of damage that has taken place. Pieces of the broken houses, collapsed houses can be seen. These are the scenes of destruction and devastation here in Jammu. Yesterday, most of the rivers in Jammu region were flowing above the danger mark, and flood waters created havoc. You can see these are the remains of the houses that got collapsed yesterday due to flood waters. Although situation has improved now here in Jammu, weather has improved a bit, but still clouds, dark clouds are hovering over the city, and it may rain again in the evening. The water level has receded in Tavi River right now. You can see that water level has decreased, but still you can see there is water in Tavi River. Compared to yesterday, the water has receded, but still Tavi River is swollen, and people fear that if it rains again, then similar situation may emerge here. The authorities yesterday evacuated people who were living in the low-lying areas. As per the Jammu administration, about 3,500 people were rescued. They were evacuated to safer areas. And because of the prompt action by the authorities, many precious lives were saved. But these houses have got damaged. These houses which are located right on the banks of the river, you can see the extent of the damage that has taken place here. As far as this house is concerned, you can see this house is also on the verge of collapsing. It can collapse at any point of time. So that is why authorities have asked people that they should not venture near the rivers, and those who are living in low-lying areas near the banks, they have been asked to move to safer areas, and if they want, authorities can evacuate them. Yesterday, about 3,500 people were evacuated by the authorities here in Jammu, and now some people have come here to see the extent of damage that has taken place to their houses. There are people, you can see that they are picking up the pieces. These houses have totally got grounded. Many houses have got washed away here. Many houses collapsed here. And horrific scenes were witnessed yesterday here on the banks of the river in Jammu. There has been massive damage to the houses which are located in the low-lying areas. The authorities have evacuated people to safer areas. The authorities are also closely monitoring the situation. The good thing is that water level has receded compared to yesterday, but still people have been advised not to venture near the rivers, and people have been also asked that if they require any kind of help, they can contact on the helpline numbers that have been issued by the administration, and help will be provided, assistance will be provided to the people who fear that they may face some crisis. So authorities are on their job. People have been evacuated from the areas.
Troubling visuals there. Ground reality across the northern belt looking very, very bad as of this point. Let's bring in our guest now to make sense of what exactly is this flood fury all about. Why are we hearing of so many cloudbursts this season only? Joining us is Prem Parivartan. He's very popular as People Baba online. He has been very vocal. His video on what caused the Uttarakhand flash floods went viral, and he's got a lot of experience in working in those areas, and living in those areas to understand what exactly went wrong. Also with us is Dr. Fayaz Kutsar. He's also an environmentalist. People Baba, let me come to you first. I'm just trying to piece together everything that's been happening. A flash flood in Uttarakhand, then Himachal, then Jammu and Kashmir, houses collapsing, highways collapsing. This when we knew that the monsoon is going to come early, this when we knew that the monsoon is going to be good this year. What happened? Is there a larger picture on environment disaster that we're actually missing here?
We should not be talking about environment. We should be talking about encroachment. If you see all your reports, all your visuals, and one common thing that emerges from there is that there is encroachment on the way of the river. A river is a highway for water. The water has been flowing here for ages. Ever since the planet was created, ever since these rivers were born, they've been. So we cannot blame the river, we cannot blame the clouds, we cannot blame the rain, we cannot blame the monsoon, we cannot blame the hill slopes, we cannot blame the mountains. We are in their way. They are not in our way. So if we have not done our homework properly, and how can authorities allow lakhs and lakhs of houses and dhabas and hotels, and they are all illegal. Please, mind you, these are all illegal. And how do we check? I have worked for 30 years in Jammu division. I've worked for 30 years in Uttarakhand and Himachal. We've done so many afforestation projects, and we used to wonder. And the best way of checking any piece of land is, can any dhaba, any house can get a loan from the bank? They will never give a loan because these are all illegal. They are all on the green belts. This is riparian vegetation. The river should have the shrub, grasses, the trees and everything. Okay, so everybody says population jada ho gayi. Everybody says that. So it is governance, it is administration. You need to put the human settlements. Once you have structural engineers, you have your experts, you have your geological experts, you have committees who can earmark the land which is safe. Don't come in the way of the river. Don't come in the way of the mountains.
So People Baba is essentially saying that
you are jaise Char Dham ka, you take the highway of Char. Yeah, it is encroachment. It is encroachment. Let's be very fair. You cannot blame nature for it. And first of all, I would like to congratulate the entire country that we are having normal rain after 2010. This is normal rain, ma'am. This is normal rain. We've worked on the field for 47 years. This is normal rain. We are saying it is this happened, because the visuals are showing the houses. We are not celebrating the fact that we are having water in our rivers. We are not celebrating the fact that there is greenery has come back in
Celebrating the
Uttarakhand and
fact
Himachal.
there are
We
lives
not
lost, there are
celebrating.
livelihoods lost, there are homes which have been lost,
No, I'm
and
not saying
people,
that. I'm not saying that we
and
need to
so much.
celebrate
I get your
something lost.
point. I get your point. I get what you're saying, that it's good for the environment, perhaps so
We are not
bad
talking
for
about the
human.
right
But
river.
you are saying, just
Encroachment.
People Baba, you are essentially saying that all of this is the work of illegal construction that has happened on this belt. Construction that was done without keeping the rivers, environment and all of that in mind. Dr. Fayaz is also with us. Dr. Fayaz, what is your view?
Actually, it's very unfortunate and sad to see such a precious life is going away into water. But when you look at the process, the cloudburst, the landslide, these have been a natural process over a period of time. In fact, when you look at the landslide, this is one of the very common geological event which happens frequently. But why it is creating problem? When it is so frequent, why it is creating problem? You see, the kind of what you call business model of development, we have started looking at it, what our previous speaker already narrated. That is the biggest problem. I tell you one fact, because when you look at the hilly rivers, they do not have floodplain. They have only riverbed, what you call as hill torrent. And in hill torrent, along the hill torrent, you are, constructing everything. Then what will happen? When a lot of water will come, that is not water alone. It brings a lot of debris. Because when you look at the what you call business model of development, where we are reaching to the highest peak, even you are constructing, doing everything, then you are losing your pristine ecosystem, the grasses, the plants. You are allowing those land masses to come down on you itself. So it is certainly a man-made creation.
allowing, you're saying we have allowed for this disaster to happen. This is a man-made disaster. Both of you echoing the same point there. People, Baba, but I remember what you said about Uttarakhand when the floods had happened there. You had very specific reasons why. And you went ahead to essentially say that everything that could go wrong in the environment had gone wrong in Uttarakhand. But if we were to take that argument and say, did it go wrong in Punjab? Did it go wrong in Jammu and Kashmir? What about Himachal Pradesh?
Yeah, it will happen. Don't worry. Next year, again, we'll be talking about the same topic because nobody is talking about encroachment. Just please understand, there is a very basic, simple problem. I've traveled to so many countries abroad. They take care of this thing. ऐसा नहीं है कि वहां पे बारिश नहीं होती. They are also having monsoon. Please remember, this is not a cyclone. This is not a tsunami. This is not a hurricane. This is normal rainfall. It will happen every year. Every year the water will come. Every year the river will be filled with water. When you know that every year this will happen, maybe it has happened a little more this year, but it's been happening for the last 10 years, every year at the same time. July and August, they are the most critical months for our monsoon period. Why are we again allowing people to settle right? I think this is genocide. This is homicide. This is the encroachment. It's a kind of murder that we are doing. The authority should be held responsible. Why are you allowing something to? Agar ek highway hai, there's an expressway. Do you allow people to stand right in middle of the highway or on the side of the highway when there are speeding cars and trucks going on? No, you will not do on a toll road. But why are you doing on the way of the river? This is a river. The river has its own course. There is a floodplain.
You're using very, very strong words there. But a lot of people, Baba, are saying that this is a change in the climate as well. Climate change perhaps also responsible partly for it. You don't agree?
Can we manage our climate? We cannot. It is a bigger thing. It is a bigger issue. There are ocean currents. There is a continental shift going on. There is gravity. There is the entire it's a very, 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 very huge subject. Let's not discuss climate. We cannot do climate. You and me cannot change the climate of this country, but we can stop stupidity. We can stop this stupidity that we are doing right in the middle of the river. Whether you go to Manali, you go to Kullu, I can name 10,000 projects like that. You are putting the human settlement right on this thing, and then there is this all bandwaja barat about flood relief and politician going and clicking photographs over there. This is mass murder. How can you allow human habitation? How dare you allow human settlement in the way of the river? Nobody is talking about this. Everybody is talking about the cloudburst. Cloudburst, is it a new phenomenon? Is it an AI generated thing? Is it something which is generated by a few people 5 years ago? It has been there for millennium. It has been there for thousands of years. I have seen it. हम जब छोटे बच्चे थे, we used to go walking on the Char Dham Yatra. We have seen so much of this thing. The landslide is happening because we are blasting the mountains. We are doing illegal mining. You go to Uttarakhand, you send your teams to Himachal, you just see number of illegal sand mining. You are changing the course of the river. आप illegal mining कर रहे हैं, आप sand mining कर रहे हैं, you are changing the course of the river, you are encroaching, your engineering is not good of the bridges, and then you blame the river, and then you say, oh, flood ho gaya. This is such a natural thing to happen. Tomorrow you will blame the air, tomorrow you will blame the wind, you will say, no, the air is not good, the air... we are not turning the finger to ourselves, and we are not contemplating, not meditating on the fact that where we are going wrong. That should be the discussion. And the corporator, MP, MLA of that region, they should be held to account. The office, you should call them on television and ask them, why did you allow this thing? How can... Achha, tell me one thing. I have seen it. I can present so many... You are giving Aadhaar cards to people who are right in the middle of the river. You are giving them electricity connection. You are giving them power connection. You are giving them water connection. How can you do it? It is 100% illegal. How can you do any construction on the way of the river? I don't know.
So then, People Baba and Dr. Fayaz also, because he's been listening for a while now, what are the courts doing on this? What is NGT doing about it? What are the Environment Watch? I mean, all of this clearly happened under their watch as well, right?
Can I
please,
add something
Dr. Fayaz,
to it? Yes, when you look at it, why it is so frequent, why nature is so upset and angry. When you look at it, I will say one word, that ecosystem is losing resilience. When your ecosystem loses resilience, such things become quite frequent. And why it is happening? Because those ecosystems are being, interfered with. You encroach the system. So therefore, the functioning of ecosystem, the ecosystem processing has been lost. So ecosystem is no more functional, and therefore the changing climate bringing its fury, and this ecosystem is not resilient, enough to control it, to check it, to dilute it. It is spills over, and that creates problem. And I mean, this is very important to see that while looking at the construction of road, we never see what is the natural, flow of water. And what are the, what you call as gadhera. Gadhera is a term, local term for streams and rivulets. We forgot to see those gadhera and rivulets. Recently, I was walking in Pithoragarh and I have seen those gadhera and rivulets are filled up for the roads. And those, when such kind of rain comes, these gadhera and rivulets are responsible to carry those water smoothly down into the bigger river. But those gadheras no more exist. There was a huge fragmentation. So these, our ecosystem in hilly area and everywhere, in fact, losing resilience. Resilience to the climate, resilience to the such extreme weather pattern. And therefore, such event would be more frequent. If we want to stop it, it would be more frequent and we would be suffering. The humanity would be suffering.
Well, I started the debate by saying, is this engineered? I think at the end of it, two very renowned environmentalists in the country are coming on to say that this is a cold-blooded murder. They're saying this is genocide and homicide on why this was even allowed in the first place. These are very, very pertinent questions, one we should be asking, and this is not the last you'll hear of it, at least here on India Today as well. Thank you both for joining us with your perspective and making us think beyond just the immediate disaster that is upon us. But let's give you a few more details of what's really happening. Let's take a look at what else is happening in Jammu and Kashmir at the moment. The situation remains grim in Jammu and Kashmir as heavy rains have unleashed devastation in the region. The floods triggered by Cloudburst have now claimed 34 lives and also have damaged key infrastructure while severing road, rail, air, digital connectivity with the rest of the country as well. The government Gandhi Memorial Science College, a cluster of university in Jammu, has been completely submerged due to the incessant downpour. Rescue ops were carried out at the college and students were rescued from college and hostels as well. After speaking with the Prime Minister and the briefing him about the flood situation, Chief Minister Omar Abdullah also visited the flood-affected areas to assess the situation on the ground, making sure all necessary measures are in place to safeguard people in such areas. He's also been tweeting about it, saying that there is just no connectivity for them to take on those challenging tasks. The Jammu administration has set up multiple relief camps to support those affected by the floods. In Satwari, a government school has been converted into a temporary shelter. Essential supplies, including warm clothes, bedding, food, have been arranged to assist those families which have been displaced. We'll be tracking the story very, very closely here on India Today. But for the moment, let's take a very quick break. Coming up on the other side, our health segment, where it's all about obesity. India is writing a new rule book on fat. Finally, there is going to be a guideline in the country on how we need to tackle this problem. More on that on the other side of this very quick break.
Choose a world where we dream, and the limit is the sky. And this world is my home where I'm living my best.
Mindfully crafted home decor fabrics. Sansar, a D-Decor brand. Live consciously.
They don't make headlines, they make India. The real unicorns of India don't chase valuation, they create value. These are the stories of those who don't just do business, they build India. This Independence Month, India Today celebrates the micro-moguls of India. Quiet ambition, local impact, national change. The untold stories of grassroots entrepreneurs quietly shaping a rising India. India Today, the micro-moguls of India. Subscribe now at subscriptions.indiatoday.in and read their full stories.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
Welcome back. India is finally writing the rule book on fat. For the first time ever, the country is drafting national guidelines to screen, to prevent, and to treat obesity. Obesity, which is, as we know, a silent epidemic that's now overtaken both our cities and our villages, both adults and children. From redefining how we diagnose obesity to setting strict boundaries on weight loss drugs like GLP-1, this playbook could reshape everything from school nutrition policies to who qualifies for bariatric surgery. Here's what's coming and why it matters.
Obesity is no longer a silent issue in India. It is now a full-blown public health emergency. More than 1 in 4 Indian adults is classified as overweight or obese. That number has tripled in just over a decade, cutting across age groups, income levels, and geographies. Even among children, the trend is rising at an alarming pace. But these statistics we already know. Question is, what are we doing about it? Now, for the first time, India is preparing national obesity guidelines, a long overdue roadmap for screening, prevention, and treatment. Experts from the Indian Council of Medical Research, the Health Ministry, and specialists in endocrinology and bariatric surgery, nutrition, and public health have started work on what could be a turning point in how India addresses its weight crisis. Obesity in India has become both common and deeply misunderstood. According to recent data, 24% women are overweight or obese, 23% men are overweight or obese. Children under 5, obesity rose from 2.1% to 3.4%. And it's not just about weight on a scale. You would know that by now if you have been watching this space. Many Indians with a normal BMI still carry excess abdominal fat, which is a strong predictor of diabetes, hypertension, cardiovascular disease, and even some cancers. To understand this better, let's look at the obesity map of India. Some states are seeing particularly high prevalence. Kerala 65.4%, Punjab 62.5%, Delhi 59%, Tamil Nadu 57.9%, states like Jharkhand 23.9% and Madhya Pradesh 24.9% report lower obesity levels. Risk factors include age, urban lifestyle, higher income, and dietary habits. Obesity rates are also notably higher among certain communities, including Sikhs, perhaps due to eating habits. Interestingly, the World Health Organization recommends population-level interventions such as sugar taxes, front-of-pack food labeling, and restrictions on junk food marketing, especially to children. India's upcoming guidelines will likely draw on these global frameworks while adapting them to local healthcare and cultural contexts. So what will India's new guideline cover? We are learning they are expected to include early detection tools beyond BMI, including waist circumference and metabolic risk markers, population-level prevention strategies in school, workplaces, and urban spaces, lifestyle modification protocols focused on diet, physical activity, sleep, and stress, medical therapies, and this is critical, including modern drugs like GLP-1 and GIP receptor agonists that mimic gut hormones to reduce hunger and slow digestion. Updated bariatric surgery criteria for individuals with morbid obesity. Yes, GLP-1 drugs are likely to find mention in the obesity guidelines. The new guidelines are expected to include strict protocols to regulate misuse, when, how, and under whose supervision these drugs can be used.
Obesity, remember, is now one of the strongest drivers of non-communicable diseases in India, including diabetes, hypertension, fatty liver, and cardiovascular disease. Some cancers have also been linked to excess body fat, especially in the abdominal area. India, however, remember, is facing a dual burden: widespread undernutrition in subsections of the society and increasing overnutrition and obesity in the others. For years, there have been no unified national approach to deal with the latter. This new guideline could change that. Of course, the key is going to be in adoption and its implementation across the country. Sonal Mehrotra Kapoor for India Today. So it's a good guideline, much needed guideline that is now underway. We still don't know the date at which it will come out and what exactly it will have. These were some of the things that our reporter Milan actually picked up with her sources as well. But you know, when it comes to obesity in India, it's been a day of contrasts. Why? Because on one hand, we are setting to release the first ever national obesity guideline, a much needed framework, like I said, that could, by the way, include the use of GLP-1 drugs to treat obesity. That will be the first of its kind. But on the other hand, the Indian Medical Association has sounded alarm over their rampant misuse, warning that any doctor, including a dermat, a physio, even Ayurveda practitioners, are now prescribing GLP-1 drugs. And this will lead to massive misuse, and without any proper supervision or expertise, this could be very, very dangerous. GLP-1 is now, as we know, or perhaps has been the experience even in the West, is turning out to be a double-edged sword. Huge medical promise on one side, serious consequences if misused on the other. Milan now joins us more on this story as well. Milan, like I said, it's a day of contrast. On one hand, government is recognizing GLP-1 drug, all discussing whether or not it should be included into the guideline. On the other, doctors are saying, hold on, let's limit the use first. Let's figure out what is the best way to roll out GLP-1 drugs.
Absolutely, Sonal, because GLP-1 drugs essentially were earlier part of the type 2 diabetes and type 1 diabetes guidelines that had been issued by the ICMR. Now, the national obesity guidelines, need of the hour, of course, are now being worked on by the Indian government. And certainly this is after Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also mentioned that obesity is becoming a silent killer and silent crisis in the country. And when you talk about misuse, of course, the IMA doctors, they're suggesting that the Ayurveda practitioners, etc., are prescribing it. It should not be prescribed by anyone other than an expert endocrinologist. And on the other hand, when you talk about the contrast, of course, the bariatric section of doctors who reduce weight, with surgeries are all obviously going to be against the rampant misuse of these drugs, because once the generics enter the market, and we are soon perhaps going to see that happening once the patent for semaglutide expires in some countries at least, what's going to be the impact on India is also a larger question, because right now GLP drugs are not in the reach affordability level of everyone, but that's going to happen pretty soon. And then of course it should not be available over the counter and should be prescribed, but we're also looking at side effects and people have to be educated on that. So therefore the national obesity guidelines will pave the way for that. But this was just the first meeting, and of course my source tells me there's going to be more discussion on the weight loss drugs as well. Sonal?
All right, so we are waiting for that, all eyes on that as well, as we wait to see what is the formal guideline that the country will actually come out with. We also have some guests joining us on the same story. We've got Chandrakant Laheria, doctor joining us, founder and director for the Foundation of People-Centric Health Systems. Also, Dr. Anupam Biswas, senior consultant endocrinologist at Fortis Hospital. Dr. Laheria, thank you so much for being with us today. Like I said, it's quite, I don't know how to wrap my head around this. Are we moving ahead of the curve here? In the West, when it comes to GLP-1, there is perhaps the most expensive lawsuit the pharma industry has ever faced that has been filed now. Some 1,500 people have come together and said that Ozempic led to blindness, and that, case is being heard. On the other, the guidelines here in India being formed while we are trying to treat obesity. GLP-1, do you think it should be included or excluded till the time we understand the long-term impact? Dr. Laheria, you're on mute. If you could unmute yourself, please.
One thing which we need to remember that the GLP-1 receptor agonists, the new drugs are very effective in reducing weight.
Yeah.
But we also need to remember that these drugs are not for everyone. The qualified medical provider will guide that who should receive the drugs and what is the approach. And then the second part we need to remember is that no matter which drug, whatever drug we take, paracetamol, also a very common drug, but it can cause side effects. So even GLP-1 receptor agonists can cause side effect. thing is that one of the big contribution, in my opinion, of these drugs availability in Indian market is that the entire dialogue on obesity and overweight in India has started. But we need to be conscious that that's why guidelines are required. That the GLP-1 receptor agonists or weight reduction drugs are not the only solution.
Right.
No matter what, in every case, the lifestyle modification, dietary modification or physical activity are the first line. And along with that, these drugs, GLP-1 receptor agonists are the solution. That's why the guidelines will be very useful. And then fourth point is, I was hearing the feature which was run before this, that we know that it's not the double burden, but India has a triple burden of malnutrition, which essentially means undernutrition, overnutrition, and micronutrition deficiency.
Yes.
If you go to like any place, there are iodine deficiency, vitamin D deficiency, other micronutrient deficiencies. So we need to ensure to the people that they have a right weight, not the excess weight. And finally, coming to GLP-1 RA, definitely there is a need for more regulation, better control. Definitely, the people who are not qualified to prescribe. Essentially, the other pathies should not be prescribing these medications.
So what should be? So let me try and understand this, Dr. Laheria. Dr. Anupam Biswas also with us. Dr. Biswas, if you could come in on this, what should be the ideal way to approach and ensure that misuse does not happen? I was reading up that in certain countries, what they've done is they've taken the rights to prescribe GLP-1 drugs and limited it to very specific doctors who are endocrinologists and perhaps doctors in a few more fields. They have limited and they prohibited any other form of doctor to even prescribe this drug. Is that a way that India can sort of go in?
Yes, so that is a very important question, because if we misuse the drug, obviously there are going to be consequences. So it's very important for us to know who can prescribe these drugs so that only patients who require these drugs should benefit from it. So it should not be prescribed over the counter. It should be prescribed by either a certified endocrinologist or a physician who has worked in this field for a longer time. And even if you look at the European guidelines, they have restricted it to endocrinologists who can prescribe this drug.
Yes.
There are certain side effects of this drug also, but we have been using GLP-1 receptor analog for a very long time, and we have seen very good results in our type 2 diabetes patients and even in our obesity patients. But again, it is very important to screen, and after screening, we have to evaluate who are the patients who require these drugs. And based on the guidelines, we would recommend these drugs to these patients.
Right. But, you know, Dr. Laheria, you and I have spoken about this several times now. And every time I hear a doctor saying it should be done this way, it should be done this way. But off camera, a lot of endocrinologists now tell me that the misuse is already happening. Every second person coming into clinics today does not need the GLP-1 but is asking for GLP-1. It of course doesn't help when Serena Williams, Oprah Winfrey actually endorse it. So clearly we can't leave it for good sort of judgment to sit in on people. We need clear guidelines, we need clear guardrails. So we can't perhaps wait for just these guidelines. There should be proper rules that are sort of rolled out by the health ministry even before.
I think I cannot agree more on this topic, because there is a lot of surrogate marketing going on for the drugs, and which is, in my opinion, worrying. Of course, any medication, especially when a new medication, should be prescribed by a qualified provider who is trained in the area, endocrinologist, internal medicine specialist, even an MBBS physician who is trained. So the point which Dr. Biswas mentioned, that a person should be qualified to prescribe this medication. And second dimension of this is that the people, even before the drugs became available in Indian market, were buying or purchasing over the counter bringing from other countries. So there is a need to bring awareness in population that do not use these drugs for a cosmetic reason or prescription or qualified medical providers. And that's where these guidelines would be useful.
Got it. I have last few minutes, Dr. Laheria, and I just want to quickly understand this from you. Like I said, we can't hope. I mean, we are doing everything in our capacity as media houses to ensure that the right information goes out. We are doing a health show every day. and telling people almost on alternate day basis about obesity drugs, the pros and cons, the red lines, the Lakshman Rekha that you must not follow, you must not cross, etc. But if you had to tell the government or give the government one advice on how to roll this out in the better manner, what would that be?
I think the best approach would be what you had shown in your feature earlier, that we should remember, if we keep talking about GLP-1 receptor agonists, then it sends a message that these are the only solutions. So whenever we have to talk about, whenever government guidelines need to be formed, they have to focus upon the childhood obesity, school-based intervention. They need to focus upon how to reduce the weight, the lifestyle modification, physical activity. They need to have attention on the training of the medical provider or doctors in this area and the better regulation of these aspects. And more importantly, one of the key areas, we need to work upon the root cause of obesity. People need to be made aware about what is the overweight obesity. Like that is the starting point. People do not know whether they are overweight, obese, and then it's only when they cross the BMI, body mass index, which is a crude indicator well beyond the limit, then only they become aware. If we raise awareness, the moment people are becoming overweight, they can implement that lifestyle modification. There are many things to be done, and the GLP-1 receptor agonists or a surgery are not the solution. Rather, they are the last resort. And the guidelines need to focus upon from the prevention, health promotion, treatment, and then of course use of these medications.
I think my worry here is that of course GLP-1 is much more powerful, but a parallel can be drawn with antibiotics. There's an entire generation of kids who have grown up popping antibiotics which are available over the counter, and they're all resistant now to different viruses. The worry here is that this is what is going to be. So we need clear guidelines, and hopefully the health ministry is listening in to what needs to be done now, not wait for guidelines to be formed tomorrow. Thank you both for joining us on this issue. All right, and let's end with some sweets and modaks. Well, it's the Ganpati Bappa Moria chants that have filled the air. If you've stepped out of your house at all, you would have heard it. Ganpati festivities have kicked off across India today as devotees have welcomed beloved Bappa to their homes for the next 10 days now. Like every year, the epicenter of the festivals in Mumbai at least stands as everybody is looking at their usual haunts. They welcomed Lord Ganesh with pomp and show, and the Aam Janta and the celebs all alike joined in the festive fervour and the spirit of Ganesh Chaturthi. Also from all of a very happy